What's good, Eagles fans? This is your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Y'all already know how we get down. If you guys are new to the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more. And if you guys have been loyal to the channel, loyal to the soil from the very beginning, you already know what my heart is. You know how we get down here at Chalk It Up Sports Philly. If you guys just hop into the live stream, like I said, make sure y'all smash that like button. It really helps the content move forward. Really grateful for you guys being here. Really grateful for you guys kicking it with me tonight. A lot of things to discuss. A lot of things to discuss, especially the way we ended week 12 of the NFL season. Things obviously didn't go our way against the New York Giants, but it's important that we put that mediocrity behind us and try to move forward to things to come. We have the New York Jets this week. And once again, another matchup that we should win. But in no way, shape, or form should we overlook our opponent. No way should we underestimate our opponent as well. So I think it's really important for us to put the Giants' loss behind us. It is what it is. I told myself, if I'm being completely honest with you, I won't heal from it until we beat another division rival. Now, I'm not saying I'm not putting it behind me. It's behind me, but it's still a wound that needs to be healed. And I need a division victory to heal that wound. Right now, Jalen Hurts is 0-2 in the division. And that's not a good look because those are the games that are most important. But like I said, the Jets are on the menu, and the Eagles need this win before they go into the bye. That's the most important thing. We need to get something in the win column before we go into this bye. And the New York Jets are just mediocre. They're lowly. They're just terrible in every way. And I think it's important for us to take advantage of that. So let's get right into the things that I want to discuss today. Now, as we all know, coming out of that loss from the New York Jets, Jalen Hurts has an injury. An injury that obviously we didn't want to hear, but it is what it is. Now, the injury is not that bad. It's just a sore ankle. And sore ankles eventually get turned into sprains if they're not nursed properly. So it all remains to be seen whether or not Jalen Hurts will be able to play this coming Sunday. But the word is the Philadelphia Eagles are preparing Gardner Minshew to start just in case. Just in case. Obviously, we don't want that to happen, but that begs the question. Should we be intrigued by what's to come if Gardner Minshew has to start? Will Nick Sirianni lean back into the running game, or will he try to see what Gardner Minshew can do under his system, and that's a pass-heavy offense? I'm curious about what you guys feel about that. If Jalen Hurts doesn't get the start because of his injury, should we be intrigued by what Gardner Minshew may bring to the table? Now, granted, Gardner Minshew, in my humble opinion, is not a terrible quarterback. I don't think Gardner Minshew is terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I don't think he's great. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's above average. I think he's an average quarterback. I think he can get you through a few games in the season if you ever needed him to cover for your starting quarterback. Maybe he can start on maybe a bottom half team, but I wouldn't want him starting for my Super Bowl team, my playoff contending team. He's a glorified backup if he's on a playoff contending team. But Gardner Minshew, his rookie season, 6 for 6 as far as his QB record, 6 wins, 6 losses. 2020, he was 1-7, not really good at all, but he's pretty accurate. Above 60% completion percentage both seasons in a row. 66% last season. So he's a fairly accurate guy. Last season, 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Rookie season, 21 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Threw for over 3,000 yards his rookie season. Threw for over 2,000 yards his sophomore season. But I'm obviously hoping that Jalen Hurts plays. I'm hoping this sore ankle isn't as bad as they're making it out to be. I'm hoping it's just one of those things that they're kind of, They're trying to lull their opponent to sleep, so they don't really know what to expect, forcing the opponent to prepare for two quarterbacks. But we need we need the running game to dictate the pace in every way. That's the bottom line for us. It don't matter. It don't matter what's going on with the quarterback position. We need to run the ball. Running the ball is how we get things done these days. And the way we lost to the Giants was us deviating from our identity, and that's the run. Now, granted, we did run over 30 times for over 200 yards. Yes, we did do that. But the bottom line is that we didn't stick to the identity. That was the problem. We never stuck to our identity. We came in with a pass heavy mindset, and then we sprinkled running in. That was the issue. We didn't come in with a physical mindset. We came in with a finesse mindset, and that's how we lost, honestly. But let's see what's going on with the people. We got my man Jay Young in the building. What's good, family? How you doing today? We got my man the Goat Michi. What's going on, family? We also got Jinx Wolf in the building. I'm not sure about a call in. Not really sure about that today, my man. Maybe tomorrow or on Thursday. Uh, Ryan Rose in the building. What's good? How you feeling, family? Good to see you. If you guys are just coming in, make sure you guys hit that like button. So, if you guys are just coming in, also the question I posed, the question I posed was, if Jalen Hurts doesn't get the start because of his injury, will we be intrigued? Are we intrigued to see what Gardner Minshew can do within this offense? I'm curious about what you guys think about that. Blue City Empire, what's going on, family? Always coming and showing love to the content, especially as a Giants fan. That's very loyal, my man. I appreciate you. Blue City says, question, what's your opinion of Xavier McKinney, Darnay Holmes, and Julian Love? Well, I liked Xavier McKinney. He's actually doing pretty good things for you guys. He got an interception on our guy on Sunday. So, he's doing. I think Xavier McKinney has like 5 interceptions on the season. That's really good. That's really productive. He's been a ball hawk. As far as Julian Love, don't really have a strong opinion about him, and I don't really have a strong opinion on Darnay Holmes. I have to do my due diligence on those guys before I reserve judgment. Um, but yeah, Xavier McKinney for sure. I like him. I like him a lot. Uh, but yeah, you guys, Jalen Hurts has an injury, and obviously his commodity right now, what makes him go is his athleticism. And if he's lacking in athleticism in this upcoming matchup, that can definitely affect how we approach this game. But nonetheless, we still have our running backs, right? We still got Miles Sanders. We still got Boston Scott. We still got Jordan Howard, who's getting healthy. Hopefully, he plays this week as well. Um, Speaking to Jordan Howard, I really I really missed him this past Sunday because I feel like when he wasn't in, it truly changed the way we called plays. It changed the way we approached the running game. Um, and that's something that can't happen, regardless of who's there, who's not there. We cannot change the way we approach the running game, regardless of what running back is back there. Boston Scott runs hard. Miles Sanders runs hard. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Howard runs even harder. But Jordan Howard not being there truly, truly showed me that he is he provides he's a large factor of this running game. He's the pulse. He's the pulse to me. He's the physicality. He is the identity of physicality when it comes to the running game. And I think we were missing that. I feel like we veered away from that, and we only ran when things got a little hairy. Um, but I think Jordan Howard will be back this week. He's questionable right now, so he's a game changer, and I'm looking forward to seeing him come back. Jordan Howard is questionable. Tay Gowan, the cornerback we got from the Arizona Cardinals, is questionable. Jalen Hurts is questionable. Miles Sanders is also questionable with an ankle foot injury as well. But Nick Sirianni says he's heading in the right direction. Jason Kelsey is also questionable as well. And then Jack Driscoll is out for the season officially because he was placed on injured reserve for the second time this year. By default, he must be out for the rest of the season. Now, Brandon Brooks, when will he return? He will be available after the bye. But so far, it says he will remain out through He will remain out through week 14 of the bye. So hopefully he'll be back for week 15. And then because having him come back to cover that right guard spot would truly help us in every way. Jay Young says, I mean, this is just this. This is just this. He's a have a quarterback, and this is always saw from him. So I'm not really understanding what you're saying right now. Not really understanding what you're saying right now, Jay Young. You got to clarify that one for me. Blue City says the tight end from Giants practice squad that made a touchdown against the Eagles is from Philadelphia. And get this, on his press conference, he said that he's an Eagles fan. Yeah, well, screw him. He kicked rocks. As far as I'm concerned, he ain't from Philly no more. The Goat Michi says Jordan Howard coming back this week. I think. Yeah, hopefully so, my man. Hopefully his injuries, is not it wasn't as serious as it was led on to be. He's questionable for what I can see. Jay Young says, I don't know about him. He was good in Jaguars. That's what I heard. I mean, you can't judge the quarterback when you see it. I hope Jalen Hurts plays. If not, then he's going to have to get the job done. Most definitely. I agree with you on that. Gardner Mitchell's going to have to come in and be a game manager and get things done. But the bottom line is, regardless of what quarterback is in there, we need this running game to really dictate the pace. And that's who we are, and that's the way we're built. And Nick Sirianni, hopefully he learned a lesson from trying to get back to the passing game, throwing the ball more than 30 times. Hopefully he learned his lesson from that Giants matchup. It don't matter who you play, your quarterback is still developing. Right now, he's at that point in his career where the more he throws it, the more he puts the ball in the air, the less valuable he becomes because he puts the ball that much more in jeopardy. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a terrible thrower. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But Jalen Hurts has a lot of developing to do still. He's not at that point in his career where he can throw the ball 30 plus times a game. He's just not there yet. That's just his reality. That's our reality. I'm not saying he can't ever get there, but he's developing. He's developing. And we have to acknowledge the fact that he's still developing. And we can't put him in situations where his weaknesses are exposed. And that's the problem. And I feel like if we continue to throw the ball more than we're running it, if we continue to lead with a pass heavy mindset versus a run heavy physical mindset, this team is designing Jalen Hurts' failure in front of his own eyes. This team is Jalen Hurts' failure is a foregone conclusion if we continue to lead, if we continue to lead with this pass heavy mindset. And let's keep in mind, he's only played about a full season of football. He's not a rookie anymore, you guys. He's played 16 games. He's played 16 games in his career. He's not a rookie anymore, so we can't say that. He's now officially by the game by game metric, he's not a rookie anymore. He is officially a second year quarterback. If you want to go by the amount of games he started. But Jalen Hurts' game is predicated on his athleticism. And if he can't run, if he's limited with the ankle injury, how much value does he have? You know what I'm saying? And again, I know he can make certain throws. I'm not saying he's a terrible thrower. I'm saying he has more developing to do when it comes to throwing the ball. Darius H was going on. He says we would have passed anyway because the front office wants the QB to be a QB. You know what's so funny about that, right? You know what's so funny about that thought, man? It's funny because we talk about not just us, but the coaching staff. They talk about wanting to install these pass heavy concepts, and the narrative is that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie want a pass heavy team. They want this high flying offense. They want this big play offense. They want this Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, big play, pass heavy, big arm. They want this high flying quarterback offense, right? They don't want this run heavy offense. But if you didn't want a run heavy offense, or if you never wanted a run heavy style quarterback or dual threat quarterback, why would you draft Jalen Hurts? If his play style was such a question for this coaching staff, or if his play style was such a question that, granted, Jalen Hurts was drafted before Nick Sirianni got here, but if Jalen Hurts' play style was such a question for the front office or ownership, why draft him? Why draft his style of quarterback, right? Why not draft a guy who's more of a pocket style quarterback? Why? That's the part I don't understand. Because in this team's history, as long as I've been playing the game or watching the game, excuse me, we've lived off of dual threat quarterbacks in this team's history. We've thrived off of that. You think about Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Randall Cunningham. We thrived all off of dual threat running style quarterbacks that are able to get it done with their legs. We've thrived off of that. So I'm not sure why we're trying to change our call to action now. That's the one thing I'm not understanding about this front office. The word is, Jalen Hurts is not the type of quarterback they want, or is run heavy offense not what they want. If that's the case, why draft a guy like Jalen Hurts who's still developing as a passer and has relied on his legs, for the better part of his football career to get things done? That's just my mindset about it. The GOAT Michi says, I hope Jalen plays. He had just one bad game, but he can bounce back. I agree with you on that. Now, Jalen Hurts has had more than one bad game this year. That's the one part where we might disagree on. But as far as him bouncing back, I think he can bounce back. He did play his worst game of the season. That's a fact. I don't think he can get any worse than that. So I do believe Jalen Hurts can bounce back. I believe it's important that we reserve judgment for Jalen Hurts until he completes this entire season. We need to know what this entire season looked like. Of course, with the new head coach trying to install his concepts, his game plan, also with the young quarterback who's trying to, discover who he is, how good he can be, and things like that. With this young roster trying to establish an identity, you're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have moments where, play calling is questionable. You're going to have moments where people play out of character, and that's because guys are trying to experiment. Guys are trying to, the coaching staff and the players, they're trying to figure out just how good they are in certain situations. We learned that Jalen Reagor is not the guy you want to go to when the game was on the line. That was his test, and he failed. Right now, Jalen Hurts can't be trusted to throw the ball more than 30 times a game. That's just his reality right now. I'm not saying he can't be great. I'm saying right now, he can't be trusted to throw the ball 30 plus times a game. You keep him between that 20 to 25 range, or he's golden. Him running between 7 to 10 times a game, or he's golden. He's golden. But that's who he is right now. A lot of quarterbacks can't make all the throws early in their career. You thought Tom Brady was able to make all the throws early in his career. You thought Aaron Rodgers was able to make all the throws early in his career. Donovan McNabb, you thought he was ready to make all the throws. Josh Allen, you know what I'm saying? You thought those guys were able to make all the throws. Steve McNair, you know what I'm saying? Matt Ryan, or who else? Matthew Stafford. And do you think about these guys who came in? Do you think they were able to make all the throws earlier in their career? No. So Jalen Hurts has to be given the same grace. But because we're impatient fans, and because we spend so much money on these tickets, and spend so much money on watching these games every Sunday with our friends and family, we want a finished product now. We can have the expectation for the front office. You can have the expectation for them because it's important for them to always put the team in position to be competitive. But for a guy who just came in, we have to accept the fact that he was a second-round pick. He was never really asked to throw the ball as much as Nick Sirianni is asking him to, and we have to give him grace when it comes to his development. This is the NFL, the National Football League. The windows are tighter. You have to be more precise. You have to be more pinpoint with your throws. And Jalen Hurts will get there. I actually believe he will get there. He already has the mentality. He has the intangibles to be a great quarterback, to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. I actually believe he can be the franchise quarterback for this organization. I believe he's earned the right to start next year as well. I believe that. If this team continues to put him in position to grow and succeed and nurture him, then he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But I have a question for you guys. Has Jalen Hurts taken a step back in his development since we're talking about this? Sit on that question. I want you guys to think about that and respond. Has Jalen Hurts taken a step back in his progression? Nikki Stees, what's going on, my man? We need Jalen to get the job done at QB more. I understand that. I'm not mad at that comment. Michael W, what's going on, family? He says Jalen Hurts is a running back that can't throw. Oh, man. Jersey boy, yo, what's up, bro? It's been a while. Let's chop it up. You already know how we get down. Jersey boy, how you feeling, my man? Hope all is well. The Gomichi says Jalen can throw. He just not fully developed yet. That's where I'm at with it. Because we've seen him make throws that we go, ooh, okay. Like that throw to Quez Watkins on the sideline, where Quez Watkins made that circus catch to get his toes down, on the sideline. That was a beautiful throw. That throw to Jalen Rager that he dropped, the first one in the end zone, that was a beautiful throw. That throw to Jalen Rager, the second one, that was a pretty good throw. He put it only where Jalen Rager could get it. That was a good throw. I saw a stat not too long ago. I believe it was on Twitter. They were saying that Jalen Hurts actually is in the upper percentile, the upper half of the league. I believe top 10 in the league when it comes to making throws that are catchable or his on target throws. I got to find out where I saw that, but apparently Jalen Hurts throws more on target throws than throws that are not on target. So I don't know. I got to find that stat though, to make it more concrete for you guys. Jay Young says what I was saying was that he only threw about one catch for about like 1 yard, and he threw it about three times for 11 yards, I think. But uh, that's it. I know he started against the Lions, but you never know. Never know what he can do. Ryan Rose says Jalen Hurts will play a lot better with a great intensity and a and competitiveness to develop and running the ball and pace the ball coverage design with enough momentum. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, he will come. He's gonna bounce back. He's gonna be more competitive. He will come back. He's Camden for life, my brother. He says fly goes fly. You already know, man. Saw you in uh saw you in the National Football Show live stream. You already know. He's Camden for life says Howie's an idiot. Darius H says another reason to fire Howie. Darius H said he's not a dual threat yet. Mm, Darius H, define a dual threat for me. I need you to do me a favor. Define a dual threat. And this is just because I'm curious. I want to know what your definition of a dual threat is, just so we're on the same page. Candy McDaniel says first year in this offense for all the offensive players, patience needed for all of them. I can respect that. Justin Lane says, "Do you think we will make the playoffs?" I do. I think we. I think we can. I think we can. Still, we should have beat the Giants. We wasted that opportunity. Philly the podcast. What's up? How you feeling, family? You already know. Hope all is well with you, my guy. Philly says yes, he has. Okay, he has. So you do believe he's taking a step back in his development. All right. Darius H says McNabb would have been benched with 3 interceptions. I don't know. I don't know about that because McNabb's rookie season wasn't the best, and not saying McNabb was a turnover, not saying McNabb was an interception machine, but McNabb had multiple interception games, and I don't think he's ever been benched. I don't think so. We got 11 people in the live stream, y'all. Super grateful. Make sure you guys smash that like button. It really helps. Jay Young says, I mean, he learned from mistakes. Don't you think so, Tone? I think he can. I think he has. But the bottom line is what's the coaching staff's game plan for him, right? Is the coaching staff's game plan to help him develop? You know what I'm saying? Like, like do they care? Do they care about Jalen Hurts' development? Are they trying to develop Jalen Hurts? Because it begs the question sometimes when you throw the ball this much, knowing he struggles after he gets to a certain clip. Are you truly trying to develop him? Are you truly trying to? Like, that's the question. You know, like, it really sometimes I question if they believe Jalen Hurts can be the guy because he does everything right. He's a developing talent. He's young. He's very raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my whole thing about Jalen Hurts. He's a very raw talent that has had to deal with several different head coaches in his football career. He's been forced They had to learn different offenses time and time again. So is it fair to say that his development was stunted a little bit as a just as a quarterback? Because in reality, he didn't really learn to play the position the way he was supposed to until he got to Oklahoma. And even then, he's still trying to figure it out. He hasn't had stability in his football career at all. That can limit a young quarterback's development at learning the position. You know what I mean? Like, sure, your athleticism can get you into the NFL, but your fundamentals, learning the quarterback position, the footwork, what comes with the position from a mental standpoint and from a mechanical standpoint, that keeps you in the NFL. His athleticism got him here, but his fundamentals, his mechanics need to keep him here, and that's what he needs to continue to develop. Learning the position as a quarterback, not staring down your reads. That's a problem for him still. Staring down guys. He needs to read that field, trust his offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Take what the defense gives you. He got eager. He got eager in that Giants game. He got very impatient, and that was what I saw. I saw someone who was very impatient, who was trying to force things, but he can't do that against the New York Jets. He can't do that. He can't think that because they're the New York Jets, I can just do whatever I want. Nick Sirianni can't think, oh, because it's the New York Jets, I can just do whatever I want. That's a national football team. They get paid millions, just like your guys get paid millions. They have NFL coaches just like you. And any given Sunday, we're in the season of any given Sunday. Any team can devise a game plan to take any team out these days. We're starting to see that. It's possible. So it's important for Nick Sirianni to go to this Jets matchup with the right attitude, and that's to be physical. That's to dictate pace. This Jets team has one of the worst defensive lines in the National Football League. The Jets aren't even averaging 20 points a game. They're averaging about 18 points per game, and they're allowing opponents to put up 30 points per game. You feel what I'm saying? Now, granted, they have a 40% third down efficiency rate. They're converting. They're 4 for 10 on third down basically for the season. Converting third downs at 40%. Their opponents are converting third downs at a 43% clip. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, you guys, that we need to talk about. The Jets are averaging almost 4 yards a carry, but per game they're only averaging about 86 yards per game rushing. They can't run the ball. They don't have a potent rushing attack, but their rush defense, their ability to stop the run, terrible. Teams are averaging above 120 yards, almost 130 yards rushing the ball against them. Teams are averaging almost 5 yards a carry against them. Teams are literally averaging 4.5 against them running the ball. So if this Philadelphia Eagles team, if Nick Sirianni can't devise a game plan to run the ball down the New York Jets' throats, I don't know if he deserves this job. You cannot continue to game plan against your talent. You have to game plan against the opponent. This to be the second week in a row. Your opponent is giving up almost 5 yards a carry to running backs. You need to take advantage of that, Nick Sirianni, and that's the game plan. I have a question for you guys. What do you guys think the game plan should be after what I just told you? Of course, the obvious, to run the fucking rock. There's no need to bullshit. There's no need to play around with your food like this. This team is designed to run. You feel what I'm saying, you guys? This team is designed to run the rock right now. We're not designed to go toe-to-toe, blow for blow, throwing the ball 40-plus times a game. We're not built that way. This Philadelphia Eagles team is built to run the rock. This Philadelphia Eagles team is built to be physical. They're built to pound guys into submission. So why deviate from that? Now, granted, against the Giants, we did run the ball more than 30 times. We did. put up over 200 yards rushing. But we should have ran that ball 40 to 50 times, knowing how bad they're at it, knowing how they couldn't stop us when we ran that ball. The only time they were productive was when we put the ball in the air. Other than that, they couldn't stop us. So why go into the New York Jets game with the same mindset? We went into that Giants game with a pass mindset. We need to go into this game with the physical mindset. No finesse, all grit, all grime. We need that nasty mentality back. And look, I don't understand if Nick Sirianni gets this. Now, look, he showed us that he's capable of adapting. He showed us he's capable. But he's also showed us that he's capable of going back to bad habits. And I feel like at the end of the day, a coach is supposed to coach his team to win, not coach just to get one thing done and pass the ball. Like, no, the best coaches adapt. The best coaches adapt. If your team is built to run this year, you run that ball. If your team is built to pass this year, y'all pass the rock. I don't care what the owner specifically wants his team to look like. If you hired a coach to coach, let him coach. If you're winning ball games, if you're competitive, let him push this team into that direction. I don't understand it. Shout out to my man Jersey Boy with the $5 super chat. My man says Jalen's development is fine. Stays in the pocket more as season goes. Needs to work on anticipation, accuracy. How many TDs were dropped this year? A lot were dropped this year. And I do agree with you that he is trending in the right direction with his development. But he took a step back. He took a step back with this Giants game. And I feel like you have to blame Nick Sirianni for that. You have to blame Nick Sirianni for forcing this man to throw the ball 30-plus times. You have to. Shout out to Jersey Boy, man, with the $5 super chat. Super grateful for you, my man. You helping this train go, my man. You just added more coal into the locomotive, my guy. You throwing more coal into the furnace. I appreciate you, my man, truly, and I'm most humbled, and I'm grateful. Darius H says his arm isn't a threat yet. How many 250-yard games does he have? Okay, I respect that. I respect that angle. I respect that angle. He doesn't have many of them this year. He doesn't have them. And you're right. His arm talent isn't a threat yet. You're absolutely right about that. He showed us that in this New York Giants game. But he's also showed us that he is capable of making the throws when he's put in the position to make the throws, right? You know, when he's not asked to throw the ball 30-plus times, when he's not asked to rely solely on his arm, he can make certain throws, especially in the play action, the RPOs. You know what I'm saying? He showed that, especially in that Denver Broncos game, he showed pocket presence. He showed the ability to put the ball where it needed to be. He showed that. Showed it in the New Orleans game. You know what I'm saying? But again, he needs to be able to do it at a consistent clip. He needs to be able to do it, if we're behind in the situation. I guess my biggest problem really is the fact that ownership is obsessed with making sure things are pretty. Why does it have to be pretty? Why does it have to be finesse? If your team is winning, if your team is pounding other teams into submission, why does it matter? You know what I'm saying? Why does it matter? Now, sure, eventually you're going to have to pass that rock. I totally get that. I'm not taking nothing away from that. You're going to have to pass this rock at some point to win championships. But if you have a strong running attack and you have a quarterback that can get it done not only with his legs, but he can put the ball there, when necessary, why does it matter? Why does it have to look pretty? Especially if your team is still developing, especially if you're not really in a win-now mode. Why does it matter? If your team is able to stay competitive, if they're showing signs of development, if this offensive line is showing that they can dictate pace, why deviate away from that, huh? Why? Jay Young says it's going to feel so weird if Jalen Hurts doesn't play on Sunday against the Jets. I agree with you on that, man. He also says we should have no problem with the Jets because they never beat us in the regular season. That's funny. And listen, man, we can't sleep on anybody at this point. We lost to the Giants last week. We can't sleep on anybody. Nikki Stees. Plus, Jalen should have played better, so some of it falls on him too. I agree. I think Jalen should have played better. I feel like he should have taken what the defense gave him. I felt like he didn't have to fall into that trap that the Giants laid. I felt like we played right into their game plan. He didn't have to do that, but he did. He got eager. He got impatient, and that's why the game happened the way it happened. Marvin Truitt, what's going on? He says, no fronting. They were doing that shotgun-ish. almost from the beginning. But after Boston Scott fumbled, that shook up Nick really bad on the run game. Well, Boston fumbled at the end. He fumbled at the second to last drive. He fumbled at the end. But other than that, Boston Scott didn't fumble. He was doing a pretty good job running that ball. He fumbled on our second to last drive, and then we were blessed to get the ball back, and then Jalen Hurts had to drive down that field, and he put us on the right side of the field, but obviously Jalen Reagor he can't catch the ball. It's funny because if as bad as Jalen Hurts played, we still had a chance to win that game. We could have put Jake Elliott in the position to kick a game-winning field goal, but nonetheless, Boston Scott, he can't fumble that ball. That's the thing. He can't fumble. That's terrible. That can't happen. But you're right. I felt like we relied too much on the shotgun shit. Absolutely, man. We got to get back to playing physical football, bully ball. The Goat Michi says run the ball, but we shouldn't run the ball with Jalen a lot though. Yeah, I feel like Jalen. At the end of the day, the hits will add up, the miles will add up, and he can't continue to run the way he's running throughout his career. Now you use your athleticism to your advantage to escape, but eventually he is going to have to become a legit thrower of the football. He's going to have to Russell Wilson himself, and that's developed. Marvin Truitt says we have to prove that we are not trash because we lost the trash. Absolutely. When you lose the trash, when you play in the dirt, you get dirty. When you play with the trash, you are what you eat. Michi says, to me, that Giants game was a fluke. They need that game to hit him. They needed that game to hit him to reality. Interesting. That's interesting. Because this team was on fire these past few weeks, right? And I told you, remember my pregame and everything leading up to that Giants matchup, I said it's important for this Philadelphia Eagles team to not believe their own hype. I said that to you guys, did I not? I said it's important for them to not believe their own hype. And I believe Nick Sirianni believed his own hype. I really believe that. I believe this team got a little cocky. The defense didn't know. The defense understood the assignment. The defense held them to 13 points. You're supposed to win that game. If your defense holds a team to 13 points and you put up over 200 yards rushing, averaging almost 7 yards a carry, averaging above 6 yards a carry, how do you lose the game? But it happened, right? We turned the ball over. And that's Jalen Hurts' fault at the end of the day. He has to wear that. And I think he understands that. I think he understands what's going on. I think he accepts the fact that, he can't do that. I think he grows from this. Every game, Jalen Hurts typically grows from it, mentally, emotionally, and functionally. He typically grows from his mistakes. I don't think we will see another 3-interception game from Jalen Hurts ever again. I'm going to put that energy out there. I don't think we will see another 3-interception game from Jalen Hurts ever again. And I'm going to put my money on that. Ryan Rose says we can't run the ball too much with Jalen. I understand what you're saying. I understand, especially with the ankle, you don't want to put him in harm's way. I get it. Dennis Baker, what's going on, family? He says having a bad game doesn't mean you took a step back. Did Russell Wilson take a step back last night? I mean, Russell Wilson is established, though. You know what I'm saying? Russell Wilson has a resume. We've seen a larger sample size of Russell Wilson to know what he is and what he isn't. And last night we know that's not who he is. But he really didn't have a bad game last night, though. He didn't turn the ball. Well, he threw an interception in the on the 2-point conversion. But does that go? I don't know if that goes against his stat line. But Russell Wilson had a pretty decent game. They just can't run the ball, and they can't stop the run either. But Dennis Baker, to your point, Jalen Hurts is still in that point of his career where we're still trying to figure out who he is on a consistent basis, right? So it is fair to say that he took a step back because we're still trying to figure out who he is on a consistent basis, right? Especially under particular circumstances. So I believe that he potentially did take a step back in his development, but I don't think he took a step back mentally. I believe he grows from it mentally, but he took a step back in terms of how ownership sees him, how the coaching staff may see him, maybe how some fans may see him. I still believe though he can potentially be the franchise quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I still believe he can be that guy. So I don't want it to be misconstrued that I'm jumping ship on Jalen Hurts. I believe, I believe the kid still can get it done, as you can already see. This jersey wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that, Baker. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that, man. I'm not saying that game should define him, but I'm saying that that game is on the resume and it's something to look at, especially some of the throws he was making, the decisions he was making. You have to take those into consideration, right? We have to, because he's a developing quarterback. And the last thing we want for him to do is pick up bad habits. My man J Bug, Jug, what's good, J Bug? My man always showing love to the fullest. How you feeling, family? East Camden for life. He says, I'm not upset that we lost. I'm upset how we lost. Terrible game plan. The game plan should always be to get the ball to Smith and Goddard. Absolutely. Now, look, you guys, we were also talking about the concept of, expanding the Rolodex of players that touch the ball, right? But when we said that, we wanted it to make sense. We didn't expect this coaching staff to try to force feed Jalen Reagor with 7 targets. We didn't expect this coaching staff to try to force feed Quez Watkins. You know what I'm saying? That Quez Watkins, I believe Quez Watkins did the most he could with his targets. But, Quez Watkins fights. Sometimes Jalen Reagor just lets the ball do whatever it wants to do. But you're right. We need to lead with Smith and Goddard. Those guys should be the pillars, the foundation on offense when it comes to who gets the lion's share of the targets. But I agree with you. I'm not no, fuck that. I'm upset we lost, and I'm upset how we lost. I'm upset about all that. I'm upset about all that, man. It's like my thing is Smith and Goddard. I didn't have a problem with them getting a lot of targets. My only thing was you have to be creative with how you get your other guys involved so they can appear to be threats as well. Like you can't force feed Jalen Reagor. Like why would you do that? Like you can tell the game plan. They made a concerted effort to show Jalen Reagor is capable of playing this game, and clearly he's not. Clearly he's not. Candy says he has never thrown 3 interceptions in his life. Right. I don't think it'll happen again. I think it was fluky. I think he got overeager, and I don't think he does it again. Candy says y'all were complaining because he always threw to Smitty and Dallas. Now he should only throw to. No. Let's make it clear, you guys. Candy, I understand where you're trying to go with this angle, but that's not what we were saying. I don't think what you're saying is what we were saying. What we were trying to get across was the fact that Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert were the only people he was throwing to. They're only people. Now, obviously, they're your most reliable targets. You get the ball to them. Whenever they're open. But to stare down guys like Jalen Reagor, to force feed them, that's the problem, right? The problem was them force feeding, not the fact that they was getting them the ball. They were force feeding them the ball, and then Devontae Smith only has 4 targets, 5 targets. You know what I'm saying? And then Dallas Goedert has 1 target. See, it's like you can't just divert all your resources to Jalen Reagor. You can't just do that. You can't just say, you know what? Okay, we're not going to Smitty today or Goddard today. We're going to Reagor and Quez today. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that you have a legit weapon in Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, right? Those should be your main targets, but you have to be creative with how you get Quez Watkins the ball. Let him be your deep threat. Let him use his speed to your advantage. Get him in jet sweep situations or whatever it may be. Jalen Reagor, get him in jet sweep situations. You know what I'm saying? Get him in some easier routes. Get them the ball creatively. I'm not saying force them the rock, though. That's what happened against the Giants, and that's why we lost. We were force feeding certain guys the ball. We didn't get the ball to our top talent, to our most talented guys, and we turned the ball over. That was why we lost. And we didn't lead with physicality. We led with finesse. Those are the reasons we lost. I don't think anyone would be okay with us force feeding Jalen Reagor 7 targets. I don't think any of us are okay with Jalen Reagor having 7 targets. I don't think you are, Candy, at all. Rock the artist. What's going on, my guy? East Canada for Life says nobody was complaining about Smith and Goddard. Stop making BS up. The Goat Michi says Jalen gave me that Jameis Winston vibe against the Giants, but we never see hers do that again. And sorry, Rager, but he's he's oh my goodness, man. Jalen Rager, I don't know. He's a lost cause right now, man. He's a lost cause. They need to find a way to get him the ball in easier situations. Some jet sweeps. I don't know, man. But right now, I don't trust him running the route at all. I don't trust him running a single route. They need to cut his snaps down to wake him up or something. Because I don't know how that was a defining moment in his career. Was it not? I personally don't know how he comes back from that. I really don't, my man. I really don't. But since we're talking about this target situation, and you know since we're talking about sharing the ball and all that kind of stuff, right? I have a question for you guys. If Nick Sirianni decides to stick with throwing the ball with Jalen Hurts 20 to 25 times a game, if he decides to stick with 20 to 25 passing plays per game for Jalen Hurts, how should the targets be dispersed? Now, I want you guys to do some thinking. I want you guys to really do some thinking, some soul searching for this. I want you guys to divide 25 targets between our weapons. If Nick Sirianni has Jalen Hurts throw the ball 25 times on Sunday, how should the targets be divided? How should the targets be divided? Because for me, I believe Dallas Goedert should have 9 targets. I believe Devontae Smith should have 8 targets. That's 17. So that's 17 throws already, right? Goddard has not. I feel like Goddard should have 9 targets. Devontae Smith should have 8 targets. So that puts us at 17 targets. And then Quez, I believe Quez should have 4 targets. I believe Quez should have 4 targets. So now that puts us at what? 21 targets. And then that leaves 4 targets. At that point, I'm going to Rager twice. And I'm going to one of my running backs twice. Gainwell, that's what it was. Gainwell. Thank you, Candy. I appreciate you. And I'm going to Gainwell twice. That's 25 targets. So for me, you guys, if Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball 25 times a game, I believe Dallas Goedert should have 9 targets. I believe Devontae Smith should have 8 targets. Quez Watkins should have 4. Rager should have 2 targets. And Gainwell should have 2 targets. Now, Rager and Gainwell can get the ball in other situations, meaning running situations. Rager should be used in jet sweep situations right now, while also having 2 targets in particular, on particular routes. Gainwell should have two passing targets as well. Gainwell is going to be used in a running game also, so you have to account for that. They're going to have more touches too. But my thing is, when it comes to passing the ball, Dallas Goedert should have 9 targets. Devontae Smith should have 8 targets. Quez should have 4. Rager should have 2. And Gainwell should have 2. And that's if the quarterback throws the ball 25 times. And I'm comfortable with that right now, where Jalen Hurts is in his development. Candy says, I'm totally fine with Smitty getting hella targets. He's that good. Dennis Baker says, Jalen may be in the same boat as Jim Plunkett. Plunkett got booed out of San Francisco and New England and then went to Oakland and won 2 championships. Hey, man, the last thing I want The last thing I want is Jalen Hurts leaving his team and then winning the Super Bowl. That's the last thing I want. That's the last thing I want. Because as soon as Plunkett got to the Raiders, he won a Super Bowl. Won comeback player of the year, was Super Bowl MVP. You know, he was AFC Rookie of the Year at one point. You know, won the Heisman Trophy. He has a resume. You know what I'm saying? He has a resume. He's in the College Hall of Fame, just not the NFL Hall of Fame. But he got 2 Super Bowls, right? So, hey, he's forever immortalized. Derek says, I'm starting to think the owner wants us to tank because he knows our best chance to win is running. Man, if the owner has something to do with the way the games are being called on Sunday, I have a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that if that's the case. But I need to hear your thoughts on this. If Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball 25 times, we got 12 people in this live stream. I need y'all to respond to this. If Jalen Hurts is throwing that ball 25 times, how should the targets be divided? How would y'all divide the targets? I need to know. Candy says, do you think Brandon Brooks will play another game for the Eagles? That's a great question. I believe he will play because they need to get that stock back up. You know what I'm saying? They need to show that he's healthy and he can play because I think they move off him in the offseason. I think 2 players the Eagles move off of in the offseason. I think they move off of Brandon Brooks and I think they move off of Fletcher Cox. Both those contracts take a heavy toll on the cap next year. I think Brandon Brooks will play after the bye. I think that's what's going to happen. But you guys, Washington won yesterday. East Camden says, I agree with your targets. Okay. All right. Just to remind you guys, I said Dallas Goedert with 9 targets. Devontae Smith with 8 targets. Quez Watkins with 4 targets. Jalen Reagor with 2 targets. And Gainwell with 2. That equals 25 throws, 25 passes called. Now, the reason I have Goddard having more targets because he's the tight end. He's getting paid the big bucks to make those to get those kind of targets. And my thing is, I think it's important for Jalen Hurts to build up a strong chemistry with Dallas Goedert. You think about some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You think about Tom Brady. His favorite target is Gronk. You think about Patrick Mahomes. His favorite target is Travis Kelce. You think about my man Lamar Jackson. His favorite target is Mark Andrews. You think about Jimmy Garoppolo. His favorite target is George Kittle. Aside from Deebo Samuel, you know what I'm saying? You gotta build that chemistry with your top 4, top 3 tight end. Well, he's getting paid like one, but you got to build that chemistry. You got to get Dallas Goedert that rock. I don't know why Dallas Goedert is not getting top targets right now. You know what I'm saying? Winston Ertz, exactly, perfect example. Winston Ertz. They established that relationship. Rock the Artist says, I'll give Devontae Smith 9 targets, Goddard 8, Quez 7. Okay, so 9 and 8, that's 17. 17 plus 7. 17 plus 7, that's 24 targets. You got one more target to get rid of. Rock. Michi says Smith gets 8, Dallas gets 9. Well, I'm sorry. Michi says Smith gets 9, Dallas gets 9, Watkins gets 5, Reagor gets 1. Okay, so 9 is 18. 18 plus 5. 18 plus 5. That is 23. 23 plus 1 is 24. You missing the target. One more target to get rid of. Glow says, what needs to happen the rest of the year to deem it successful? Good question. I believe this team needs to be above 500 for it to be a successful season. For it to be a successful campaign for Jalen Hurts, he needs to have this team above 500. He needs to have his team above 500. Michi says one goes the game well. Okay, got it. Rock says I'll give Herrera three targets. So now that puts your targets at nine. So nine plus 8, 17, 17 plus 7. That's 24. So that means you're saying Jalen's gonna be throwing the ball 27 times. Okay. But yeah, Glow says what needs to happen for the rest of the year to be a success. I say we go above 500. That means we have to go 9-8 on the season. That's 9-8. 17 games in the season. That's 9-8. He says, is that possible? Don't we need to win out? Not necessarily. Right now, the team is 5-7. We can afford to lose one more game, and that'll keep us above 500. You only this season, in order to stay above 500, you only lose 8 games. You got to win 9 games to be above 500. An above 500 record this year. See, there's no team that's going to be 500 down the middle. You're either going to be above 500 or you're either going to be below 500. So you're either going to be 9-8 or 8-9 on the season. This team needs to go 9-8 for it to be a success, in my opinion. Glow says, I think we split with Washington. That's very possible, especially how they're playing. They beat the Seattle Seahawks last night. Granted, the Seattle Seahawks are not good right now. But right now, the NFC East is getting tighter and tighter. The Cowboys still are in the lead at 7-4, but I think they're going to lose on the road against New Orleans, especially with that team getting healthy, and also the fact that Taysom Hill is going to be being the quarterback, and they have to guard against a lot of different things. And we still don't know if Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb will be back. But the Cowboys still lead the division at 7-4. The Washington football team are now second in the division at 5-6. The Eagles screwed up losing to the Giants. Now we're 5-7, being third in the division, and the Giants are now 4-7 on our ass, being fourth in the division. So we can't afford to lose to any more division teams. Honestly, we can't afford this. We can't afford to screw up anymore. We really can't. We have to find a way to go above 500. Now, my thing is, if we qualify for a playoff spot, hey, I'm with that. But I would be so grateful if this team goes above 500. We're 9-8 with the rookie head coach and a rookie and a young quarterback who doesn't really have starting experience or didn't come in really with starting experience. He only started 4 games last year. He's now started 16 games total in his career. So now at this point in his career, we can no longer call him a rookie. You guys, we have to dead that. He's no longer a rookie anymore. He started 16 NFL games. From previous year standards, that's a full season of NFL football. So he's no longer a rookie anymore. But let's see. Let's see. Candy says Smith gets 8 targets. Gotta get 7. Watkins gets 3. Rager gets 2. Running backs get 5 targets. Okay. So what is that? 8 plus 7. That's 15. 15 plus 3. 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. And then 25. Okay. That's interesting. I like that. That's fair. Greek Warrior, what's going on, family? He says we will get back on track with the Jets. I agree. I think we beat the Jets, but I think it's important for this team not to play around with their food. Glow says, who do we want to win between the Cowboys and Washington football team head to heads? That's a very good question. I think we will be better served if the Cowboys lose, because that lessens the distance between us. That makes the distance to travel to win a division slimmer, and that also shows how more flawed the Cowboys are, and that also makes the run for the division, week 18, the run for the division, a much more likely win. Michi says, I think those losses to the 49ers and Giants are going to bite us in the ass. It might. Glow says, why only 25 targets? The reason I said 25 targets is because of the simple fact that Jalen Hurts has been at his best when he hasn't thrown the ball more than 25 times on the season. We're at our best. If you notice on these past 4 game stretch before we got to the Giants, he threw the ball 31 times against the Giants. But prior to that, he only was throwing the ball between 20 to 25 times a game. So I feel like his sweet spot right now, as far as his development goes, is that 20 to 25 range. So we also were discussing the fact that we need to find a way to get the ball to our top targets and also spread the ball around to our to get guys involved. So the question became, if Jalen Hurts, if Nick Sirianni draws up 25 pass plays, how should those 25 targets be dispersed? For me, I said Dallas Goedert should have 9 targets. Devontae Smith should have 8 targets. Quez Watkins should have 4. Rager should have 2. Gainwell should have 2. And that equals 25 targets. But that's for this Sunday coming. If we draw up 25 passing plays for Jalen Hurts this Sunday, that's my thoughts on the targets. Glow says, I asked the best questions. Awesome. You already know, my man. Welcome to the show. East Cannon for Life says, don't forget the Chargers game. Yeah, man, we should have won that game too. Colton B, what's going on, family? He says, you think we still have a chance to play at playoffs? You know what? I think we do. As believe it or not, I believe we do, for the simple fact that the Cowboys are making this division a lot more interesting. And then also on top of that, let me look at the playoff picture also. So the playoff picture is this right now. So right now, see this is what I'm saying. We should have won, because if we would have won, if we would have beat the Giants, we would have been in the 7th seed. But now we're 5-7, and there are so many more teams that are competitive right now. Like, look, the Washington football team. Look, you guys are going to be pissed off about this. We should have won. We should have won. You guys are going to be so pissed off about this. What I'm about to show you guys are going to piss you off. This is going to piss you off. Give me a second. I'm about to pour this up. We should have beat the Giants. We wasted our fucking time. We wasted our opportunity. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. So the 6th and 7th seed, the 49ers are in the 6th seed. The Washington football team are now in the 7th seed. They're now in the 7th seed. This is what happens when you don't take care of business. This is what happens when you don't take care of business against teams you're supposed to take care of business against. Now, you want to know where we are? We're the 11th seed. We're the 11th seed, you guys. We have to find a way to get back in favor in this division. We need the Dallas Cowboys to actually, man, I ain't gonna lie, we need the Washington football team to lose. You know what? You're right. This is crazy, you guys. This is fucking crazy. We screwed ourselves because we want the Saints to beat the Cowboys, right? But at the same time, that puts them further in the playoff hunt. You dig what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy right now. This is crazy. This is wild, you guys. I don't know. This playoff thing just got tighter. This playoff race just got tighter. So Colton, to answer your question, it's possible, but anything can happen. Washington can lose to other teams. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy, man. This is wild. Glow says, how scared should we be that the Giants might have 2 picks ahead of us? They could potentially get Aiden Hutchinson and one of the top O-linemen. Yeah, I know, man. This is going to be this is interesting. This draft is going to be wild. This draft is going to be wild. The Philadelphia Eagles need to go defense strictly. Glow says, Candy says, excuse me. She says, I wish they would study how Sarkisian schemed Devontae. It was masterful. I see very little creativity using him. I agree with you, man. There's literally no creativity the way we use Devontae Smith. We should be using that man in way more situations. We should be getting the ball in his hand in way more situations. He's a big play waiting to happen. Philly Pop-Up says, I agree with you, Tone. It was Nick's fault. There's a saying that I live by. Whatever works for you, that's what you stick with. So if there's nothing broken, what was he trying to fix? I have no idea, man. I have no idea. And Candy agrees with you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Colton called it a trap game. But great work, man. Love the content. Keep grinding. Hey, I appreciate you, Colton. Thank you for being here, my guy. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to my content, my guy. I really appreciate the love and the support. But yeah, man, you're absolutely right, Pop Pop. We can't we can't continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. You want to know why? Because it takes us out of playoff contention. If we win, we become the seventh seed. If we win, we become the seventh seed. We cannot play around like this. This cannot happen. Look at this, you guys. Look, we're now the 11th seed. We dropped 2 spots. This is unbelievable. Now we have to expect the Washington football team to lose another game or a couple more games. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the 49ers lose a couple more games. You never know. Maybe you never know. Anything can happen, right? What if the Rams have lost like 4 straight games, right? Or 3 straight games. What if the Rams start falling off a cliff? You know, the 49ers are on their behind. Anything is possible. What if the Cowboys lose a bunch of games? There's so much that can change because everyone's within the game of each other right now. Everyone is so close to each other right now. But you know, we have to take care of business. We should have won. We got to win out. We cannot. If we're going to make it to the playoffs, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. We got to win the rest of our games. We're not going to the playoffs. We're not making it in the playoffs with a 9-8 record. I can tell you that right now. We lose one more game, the playoffs is done. We lose one more game, the playoffs is done. So you're absolutely right, Michi. One more loss, and we're done. You know. Now, if we go 9-8 on the season, I'm not mad because all things considered. But if we want to make the playoffs, if the playoffs are our expectation, then we got to win out. We have to. We have to. We have to. Like if we, man, oh man, this is. We have to do everything. Nick Sirianni can't bullshit. He can't. He can't. For the rest of the season, I'm sorry. If you got to run the ball 40 times, if the pace of the game, if the team is allowing you to rush for 5 yards a carry or 4 yards a carry, if you're averaging 4 or more yards a carry on a team, I don't care if you run the ball 50 times. Run it. I don't care if you run the ball 60 times. Run it. If they are allowing you to run the ball 6 yards a carry, you run that ball. I don't care if it's 3rd down. I do not care. We are not safe anymore. I mean, we were never safe, but damn, this road just got a lot harder. Let's just call it what it is. This road just got a lot harder. And then the AFC, man, oh man. The AFC is all over the place. The AFC is such a tight race between everybody. I can't believe the Bills are still, man. Who would have thought the Patriots would be the number 2 seed? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Ravens right now the number 1 seed. Man, what a fall from grace for the Titans and the Bills. What a fall from grace, man. If we beat the Giants, we would have been 6-6. That would have put us in the playoff picture. Damn. We got to win out, y'all. We got to. You know, sorry about the connection issues if things is lagging a little bit, but we got to win out, man. We have to. We can't afford to screw up anymore. Ivan Mims says New England got a great coach and a good system. I agree with you on that. You know what I'm saying? They have a great coach and a great system. And if you notice how this is why slow and steady wins the race, right? Because the Patriots didn't necessarily start off on the right foot. You know, they were winning games, losing games. They were kind of inconsistent. But you know what they stuck to? They stuck to running that ball, and they stuck to bringing Mac Jones along slowly. They didn't force Mac Jones to throw the ball 30 times a game early on in the season. They was having Mac Jones throw that ball between 20 to 25 times a game. They was bringing him along slow. And the more he developed, the more he got familiar with the game plan, then they started opening things up. You feel what I'm saying? Mac Jones threw that ball over 30 times against the who did they play? Mac Jones threw that ball. Who did they beat? The Titans. They demolished the Titans. Mac Jones went 23 for 32, threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, throwing the ball 32 times, went 23 for 32. But here's the thing, right? Let me tell you something about Mac Jones. And this is what I love about Belichick. Well, look, hold on. Maybe I was mistaken. I take that back. Belichick had that boy throwing the ball a lot. But then he realized, okay, let's cut some of these throws down. Man, oh man. Sheesh. Yo, did you guys know Mac Jones is throwing the ball is throwing the ball? Let me put you like this. Did you guys know Mac Jones is completing 70% of his passes this season? Did you guys know that? Mac Jones is completing 70% of his passes this season. But I stand corrected though. Mac Jones started the season throwing the ball 39 times. He threw it 30 times, then 51 times, then 40 times, then 30 times, then 21 times, then 36 times. The Patriots are on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game winning streak. Ain't that something? They're on a 6 game winning streak. But my point is though, here's my overall point, if I'm being honest. My overall point is this. They have stability and they have a running game. They stuck to the running game. They didn't deviate too far away from it. They lead with the run, honestly. They lead with the run. Colton B says, I'm not trying to be a downer, but I think that Giants game was our shot and we missed it. Hey, man, that's a fair assessment. I can't be mad at you thinking that, man. That's a fair assessment. That may be the case. Ivan Mim says facts. I hope not, but that may be the case, Colton. It really may be the case. Hey, you guys, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps, man. Really appreciate you guys, man. Candy McDaniel says New England has stability in key leadership positions. They're not impatient with developing key players. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. They're patient. What's good? The Next Out West, my brother, Philly Foothills. Make sure you guys go like, comment, and subscribe to my man, Philly Foothills, the Next Out West. Go subscribe to his channel, man. He does great content. He's a really good dude, man. Gives you guys passion analysis. You know, he keeps it fuego. You know what I mean? Go subscribe to my man, Philly Foothills. The Next Out West, he says, with the up and downs of Sanders, should we extend Howard? That's a good question. That's a very good question. You know, Miles Sanders, his health has been the question. He can't stay healthy for some reason. That's my problem. He can't stay healthy. So, right, Miles Sanders had 9 carries for 64 yards, averaged 7 yards a carry. That's great, but he couldn't stay healthy on the field. Boston Scott had 15 carries, 64 yards rushing, averaged 4 yards a carry. You know what I'm saying? Like, the problem with Miles Sanders is we're not treating him like a lead back. And I hope he's not looking to get paid like one because he hasn't been giving us lead back production. You know, he can't stay healthy. And that's the issue. He fumbles every now and again. That's a problem. Number 21 on the like. Hey, my guy. Hey, listen, make sure you guys hit that like button. It really helps the content grow. Michi says every game is no room for error. Every game leaves no room for error. We got to treat every game like a playoff game. Have Hurts manage the game, so whatever it takes. I agree with you, man. Like, we have to treat every game like a playoff game at this point. We have to, for the simple fact that, you know, we can't throw ourselves out of games like this. You know, we can't give away games like we just did. We can't do that. We gave away that Giants game, you guys, and now we have to play catch up with the Washington football team. We fucked ourselves, and now this road gets a lot harder. It's just that simple. This road gets a lot harder. Ivan Mim says facts to what you were saying, but if you can't beat the Giants in the division game after beating the Saints, I just got to be hopeful every week and hope we get it right. That's my thing, right? If you can run the ball for over 200 yards on the number one rushing defense, why couldn't you do that against the Giants? That's how I know the game plan was fucked. That's how I know. That's how we know the game plan was fucked on the beginning. How do you run for that many yards and you run the ball 50 times against the New Orleans Saints, but you come up against the New York Giants, who are worse against the run, and you try to lead with the pass? That's how I know we got greedy. That's how I know we were impatient. That's how I know we underestimated our opponent. We still ran the ball for over 200 yards and still didn't get it done. It's blasphemous. And then we held them to only 70 rushing yards. The way the stats looked, we should have won that game, but we turned the ball over, and that was the caveat. Fly was fly. Piece 85. He says, "What's up, blessed people? How is everyone tonight? Do you think Eagles will make the playoffs?" Hey, listen, man, it's a freaking shot in the dark right now. Take a look. Take a look at the playoff picture right now. Take a look. It's not easy. It's not easy right now. Look at this playoff picture. Look at it. We are currently the 11th seed. We are on the bubble. But look at this. The Washington football team are now the 7th seed. If the playoffs started today, the Washington football team would be in and we would be out. But if we would have beat the Giants, we would have been in with the 6 and if the playoffs started today, we would have been in with the 6-6 record. And the Washington football team would have had a 5-6 record. We would have been in. But no, we had to get cute. We got cute. And you know what happens when you get cute? You get punched in the freaking mouth. So our playoff chances just got slimmer with that loss against the Giants. Got significantly slimmer. We got to take care of business. It's just that simple. We have to, in order for us to potentially qualify for a playoff spot, we got to win out. We got to win out, Piece 85. We got to win out. The Next Star West says, even though we ran for 200 yards again, we didn't run enough. Jalen can't win when we're pass heavy. Exactly. The team can't win when we're pass heavy. That's the bottom line. We can't win when we're pass heavy. This team's not built to pass for 30, 40 times a game. We're not built like that. This offensive line is best when they're going forward, delivering the punishment, not when they're going back. And I firmly believe that's how Driscoll got hurt. Did Driscoll get hurt on the passing play? Somebody let me know. If somebody can look at it, let me know. Did Driscoll get hurt on the passing play? Kenny McDaniel says, just like we stumbled to 200 yards rushing. Exactly. We fell into 200 yards rushing. We fell into it. We fell into it. The Next Star West has 25% chance to make the big dance. Absolutely, man. It's like it's sad, honestly. It's god awful. It's god awful how we screwed ourselves like this. We had a legit shot. And now the road gets harder. It gets harder, you guys. It gets significantly harder. We still got to worry about teams like the Panthers winning. We got to worry about the Giants winning out. The Bears winning out. We got to worry about all those things. We got to worry about the Falcons being a threat, the Vikings being a threat. We got to expect maybe the 49ers or the Rams to fall. Maybe the Cowboys to fall. We got to expect that. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys can definitely lose to New Orleans. But we got to expect teams to make some mistakes. Now we don't control our own destiny anymore. If we would have won out, we would have been a playoff team if we would have won out. Right now, the Washington football team is controlling that 7th seed. And we're in control of the 11th seed, which is no control at all. No control at all, you guys. We failed ourselves. We failed ourselves, man. And we got a lot to fix. We have a lot to fix. We have a lot to fix, you guys. And it starts with coaching. This coaching staff has listen, my thing with Nick Sirianni is you got the job. You don't have to win the job anymore, Nick Sirianni. What do you think if you run heavy, the GM is gonna fire you all of a sudden? If you're getting wins and you get his team in the playoffs, how can he fire you? He looks like the idiot, not you. So why are you trying to win the job again? You got the job already. He can't fire you if you're winning. If your team is making the playoffs, he can't fire you. So run the rock. Put your team in the best possible position to win. This division is getting very interesting. Like, you're right, Peace 85, you're absolutely right. And one of the big things I said in my pregame and prior to that, I said we cannot take the Giants lightly. We cannot play with our food. We cannot believe our own hype, and we did exactly that. He says they took the Giants lightly, and I think Rager was part of the problem Sunday. That's my opinion. He was part of the problem. We force-fed him the ball. Jalen Hurts turned the ball over on multiple occasions. Boston Scott fumbled the rock. Nick Sirianni called a terrible game plan. There were so many things that went wrong. We didn't get the ball to Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert enough. So many things went wrong on Sunday, and it all goes back to Nick fucking Sirianni. It all goes back to him. You got the job already, Nick. You don't have to do everything the GM tells you, Nick. You feel what I'm saying? Who cares if they want to pass heavy offense? I know Nick Sirianni was a former wide receiver coach. You know, he comes from the Frank Reich tree. You know what I'm saying? He wants to pass the ball. He wants to have a glorious pass attack. I get all that. But you got the job, and you're going to keep the job based on your ability to adapt to your talent, based on your ability to win games. The only numbers that matter is the win and loss column. If you're winning, who gives a fuck how you do it? The GM will have nothing to do but to grin and bear it and smile and wave. That's all he can do. If your team is winning and you have to make attention with a playoff spot, the way you're playing, because listen, let's be totally honest. The way the GM and the owner wants you to play football, that wasn't winning football for us. The moment you shifted to a run-heavy style, we started winning football games. So what does that tell you? Stick to the script, my guy. Stick to the script. The running game got us in the playoff in the playoff hunt. So why go away from it, Nick? The Nest Out West, my brother, he says, I wonder if Kellen Moore will be the head coach on Thursday with Mike McCarthy out with COVID. Actually, Dan Quinn will be the head coach. Dan Quinn has the most experience. Dan Quinn will be the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys while Mike McCarthy is out. And knowing that, I believe Dan Quinn will lose them that game. Y'all know Dan Quinn is notorious for losing leads. He's notorious. For not calling winning football. Now, granted, he's going to be in charge of the defense, but he will be the head coach that day. Kellen Moore will still be calling the plays, but Dan Quinn has the most experience, and Dan Quinn will be the interim coach until Mike McCarthy comes back. Ivan Mims says, funny thing is, first half of the season, Rager and Quez was making big catches, called back or not. Now, when we run the ball, they can't catch a cold. Sad, man. Sad. But you guys, we talked about a lot. We discussed a lot. And all we can really do is wait until Sunday where we play the Jets. Like I said, man, the Jets, they're not a good team in any way. The Jets, right now, they're allowing teams to average almost 5 yards of carry on them when it comes to running that ball. The Jets are so bad right now. The Jets are only averaging 18 points per game. They're allowing opponents to put up 30 points a game. Opponents are averaging 8 yards of pass attempt on them. That's really good. The Jets have thrown 19 interceptions on the season. If we don't force, and they've only forced 4 interceptions on the season. They don't force takeaways. They don't force takeaways, you guys. They don't really force takeaways like that. But here's the thing. Like I said, teams are averaging 4.5 yards a carry on them. They're giving up over 120 yards, almost 130 yards rushing a game. If we don't smack them with the running game, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy for the simple fact that Nick Sirianni seemed like at this point, do you want to win or are you just trying to tank? Are you getting too close to the playoffs? And then ownership is like, nah, you winning too much, my guy. Make it make sense. The Jets are a terrible football team. Terrible. They suck at time of possession. They have a terrible third down efficiency with 40%. They turn the ball over left and right. And you can run the ball on them easily. They've given up 20 rushing touchdowns on the season. 20. That's almost 2 a game. Teams are averaging almost 130 yards rushing on them. Nick Sirianni better put this team in position to win. I'm telling you. Peace 85 says, all I want for Christmas is Dallas eliminated from the playoffs, and that'll make my whole family mad since I'm the only Eagles fan in my family. For real, that's crazy. How are you living, bro? How are you living? That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. If the Dallas Cowboys get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, I can live with everything else. Because right now, Dak Prescott has shown us that he's only as good as the talent around him. But you guys, look, I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate the love and support as always. As you already know, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you're new to the content. If you guys have been loyal to the channel, loyal to the soil, you already know what my heart is, and you know how we get down over here. Man, this live chat, this conversation between you, with us has been amazing. You guys always make the show that much more entertaining. You guys are some of the smartest people I know in football. You guys challenge my thought process. You guys always bring up great points. You guys bring up great questions. As you guys already know, we do the shout outs at the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother, the Nest Out West. Shout out to Fly Eagles Fly, Peace 85. Shout out to the Goat Michi. Shout out to Ivan Mims. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Candy McDaniel for being active in the live chat. Shout out to Ivan Mims. Shout out to Colton B. Shout out to Philly Pop Pop. Shout out to Glow. Shout out to Greek Warrior. Shout out to Ryan Rowe. Shout out to Rock the Artist. Shout out to Darius H. Shout out to Jeremiah Butler. East Camden for life. Shout out to Marvin Truitt. Dennis Baker. Shout out to Nikki Stees. Shout out to Jersey Boy with the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you, my man. Shout out to Blue City Empire Sports, a Giants fan that always shows love to my content. Shout out to Nikki Stees, if I ain't say it already. Shout out to my man Jay Young. Shout out to Philly the podcast. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his content as well. Shout out to Justin Lane. You know what I'm saying? Really grateful to you guys for always showing love. Really grateful to you guys, as always, for showing love. Shout out to my man Jinx Wolf. You know what I'm saying? You guys always show love to the content. You guys always, you guys put the battery in my back all the time. You guys get me passionate about this game. I love the way y'all analyze the game. I love the way y'all dissect the game. Y'all always throwing different nuances to the game. You're always throwing questions that challenge my thought process. You guys are always just bringing up different. You guys bring a different energy to the show. That's the dope thing about this content game. You guys are a part of this show. You guys are a part of Chalk It Up Sports Philly. You guys make this show go. You guys are the oil to the engine. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the gas to the vehicle. That is Chalk It Up Sports Philly. I really appreciate you guys. You already know how we get down here. You guys were locked in to Chalk It Up Sports Philly, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And fly was fly.